the hearse, the bread van, the clown shoe. That's just a couple of his nicknames. I don't know about you, but I think this thing looks pretty badass. James Bond's had one of these. And whilst this doesn't have a soft top or Stinger missiles, it does have a slab of an engine. Boys were toys. See, this wasn't just a parts bin special, this was an engineer's dream. What you're looking at is BMW's 3.2 litre 6-cylinder engine lifted from the highly acclaimed E36 M3. It puts its 320 brake horsepower down to the rear wheels through a quarter-locking limited slip diff. And did I mention that this weighs 100 kilograms less than the M3? And don't be under any illusions that this has a contemporary cabin. It is certified 90s. There's lashings of blue, a radio cassette player, a compact disc player in the boot, and where you expect to find your engine's vitals, there's an oil temperature gauge on the left, a clock on the right, and in the middle there's an analog ambient air temperature sensor, so you get to know more about how your day's going outside than what your engine's doing. You turn the lights on by pulling a doorknob, and if that's not weird enough for you, the gear knob lights up, just to let you know that you're in something a little bit special. And special might be the best way to describe this pedal layout. It's off-center to the right, and it takes a bit of getting used to. I found myself lowering my feet on the pedals so that I didn't stab my toe into the plastic cowling. That throttle is also stiffer than I expected. At low speeds, there's not really much that screams performance. There's maybe a bit of engine noise and a bit of a whirring from the viscous fan. It isn't until you open the throttle and all those throttle bodies go wide open that this engine really starts to zing. And this car feels mechanical because it is mechanical. Some people might not like that, but I love it. It takes time and practice to rev match. The gear change is direct, but with some resistance, and the steering feels like it's actually connected to the car. The suspension's a touch soft, but it's all about bringing it all together. It takes time to learn how to drive this car. And that stiffer throttle? Well, it's cable operating 6 throttle bodies. This is a driver's car. According to BMW, the chassis was too small to accommodate the 6-speed gearbox, but people have retrofitted it, saying that the 5-speed still does the job with its slightly taller gearing, because the engine still has a wide torque band. A few years on, BMW revised the S50, they code-named it the S54, and they replaced this engine with the engine from the E46 M3. But it loses the cable throttle in favour of the fly-by-wire. Shame that. And this S50 has no traction control, and with no traction aids at all, I can imagine it being a delicacy in the wet, with the driver's inputs keeping the car on the road. It sounds like my idea of heaven. But that is a bit of a worry, because today, this low mileage Minter is worth around £50,000. In the last 15 years, it's only covered 2,000 miles. And in the last 2 years, it's only covered 4 miles in 2 years. Okay, I think we should take this back now. I've grown quite fond of the clown shoe in the short time that I've spent with it. And to be perfectly honest with you, the problem isn't the soft E30 rear suspension or the offset pedals. It's the fact that cars like these sit under covers. The truth is, you just won't see them, and that makes me a little bit sad.